Tattoos. Most people get ones with meaning. But when people ask me the meaning of this tattoo, there's only one real answer, and that is, I'm a twit. Fellow self-isolators, contest chair. My body is covered in ridiculous tattoos, but my favourite tattoo is the one that's on my back. You see, it all started out in 2011 when I told my friends and family that I was going to go on this grand adventure over to South America. But their response was one of fear and trepidation. They said, "Tom, be careful over there. It's dangerous. They might try and steal your kidney and sell it on the black market." Now, I knew that this sounded ridiculous, so I figured out just what to do. I will get a tattoo on my back that says, "Este riñón ya fue robado," which is Spanish for, "This kidney has already been stolen." Fast forward a few months, and I found myself in this tiny little village on the coast of Colombia. As soon as I arrived, I was told two things. The first was to never go down to the beach when it was dark, because it's dangerous and tourists often get mugged. The second was that the sunrise from the beach was unlike any other you'd ever seen. The next morning, I woke up and I had a decision to make. Do you go down to the beach and risk it all? Or do you stay in bed where it's safe? I decided to throw caution to the wind, and I made my way down to the beach. I'd been there no longer than about 2 minutes before a local man approached me. "Hola, gringo, ¿qué pasa?" I froze. I put my hands in my pockets to hide the fact that I had a camera. But before I knew it, he was all up in my personal space. "Quiero un poco, un poco, un poco." Now I knew un poco meant a little. So I said, "Sí, un poco español," as if to say, yes, I speak a little bit of Spanish. Then he laid the biggest, wettest, sloppiest kiss right on my lips. I pushed him off and he looked at me confused. But then I realized it wasn't his fault. You see, he'd just been asking for a little kiss, and my response was, yes, a little. Fast forward a few more months, and I found myself in yet another predicament. You see, I was on this bus, and it was meant to stop off in a tiny little town in Peru. But by the time I realized the bus wasn't going to stop, the town was already 40 kilometers back that way. I asked the bus driver to let me off. And there I stood, with just me, my backpack, and no way or knowledge of how to get back. All of a sudden, a local man approaches me. "Hola, gringo, ¿qué pasa?" Uh-oh, I had been here before. I raised my hand to my mouth to stop him from trying to kiss me. But then he just looked at me as if to say, "Gringo loco." What happened next changed both his and my life forever. You see, it looked like he could barely afford the clothes that were on his back. Yet he paid for both his and my fare to get back into town. As soon as we arrived, he grabbed my backpack and started to walk away from the bus. I was convinced he was trying to rob me. But then he turned around and signaled for me to follow. He carried my backpacks all the way to my hostel. And it was here that we met up with a friend of mine who was able to translate all of the conversations that we'd been trying to have. His name was Juan, and he invited both my friend and I to go and stay with him and his family that night. Once again, we were faced with a dilemma. Do you say yes and place your trust in a man you just met? Or do you say no out of fear? We decided to say yes. And when we got there that night, we realized that this experience was going to be unlike any other we'd ever had. You see, their toilet was simply a hole in the ground. Their shower was 4 pieces of corrugated iron, no roof, and a bucket of cold water. But what's more is they shared this with 6 other families. That night when we went out for dinner, Juan said something to my friend that struck a chord with me. He said, "I wish Tomas could speak Spanish. He seems like a nice guy, and I'd like to get to know him." See, it was at this point that I realized just how rude I had been. See, I've been traveling all through South America for 6 whole months. Yet I paid no attention to getting to know the people, their language, or their culture. So I asked Juan and his wife if I could stay with them for a month. And fortunately for me, they said yes. What I learned over the next month far surpassed anything that I'd learned in the 6 months prior. See, I learned more about what it is to connect with others than what I'd ever learned in my entire life. In fact, we became such good friends that after I left, they had a baby and they named it after me. On my last night that I was there, Juan said something to me that still runs through my mind today. He said, "Tomas, my friends, they say, watch out for that gringo. He will take your children in the middle of the night." You see, it was at this point that I realized that Juan and his family and friends were no different to my family and friends, and no different to me. You see, for Juan and his friends, they feared for the safety of their children. For my family and friends, well, they feared for my safety. And me, well, I just feared being mugged. This tattoo on my back might seem like a bit of a joke at first, but to me, it is anything but. You see, it's a reminder that we fear what we don't know. It doesn't matter where you're from, the color of your skin, or the beliefs that you hold. We all share this same fear. This tattoo on my back is a reminder that when we have these fears and we place them aside, amazing things can happen and remarkable friendships can be made. Contest chair.